Hello, it's Krista here with you again today, and today, it's kind of starting to feel good with that summer-like weather, and I know for a lot of us, it helps with depression, um, and depression can really eat at us sometimes, especially when the winter months hang on and we start feeling kind of the blues or like cabin fever. And really, once summer begins, it just is so refreshing to step out into this warm weather, and it just can really increase our dopamine levels naturally. I love taking my dogs for walks during this time of year and just being outside, going to the beach. Um, what is one of your favorite things to do in the summertime? You can write it down below if you want in the comment box. And I know I do talk a lot about mindfulness, as I have begun to practice mindfulness every day in my life. How we can just take time for a drive or a walk, um, playing in nature is just an essential part that we forget and that is so natural for animals like dogs, and why it's so essential for them to get outdoors, because they can get depressed if they stay in. Honestly, I keep my dogs in during the winter time, but in the summertime, they will never forget what it's like to finally when I get those leashes out again, they're ready to go. So, yeah, if you want to write in the comment box down below, what is your favorite mindful activity in the summertime? What do you like to do? Do you like to take picnics? What picks up your spirits when you're down? Um, Again, I'm doing a lot of work on, I just bought a new book called Triggers. I'm into like the first chapter of it. And I was realizing a lot yesterday that I really do need to understand more clearly the depths. And within the first chapter was learning um, that for a lot of us that have some deep traumas, where the traumas just run deep, it's easy for us when people do trigger us out, whether it's that narcissistic or codependent person in your life, or that person that you work with antagonizing you every day or sometimes, and provoking you. Um, what triggers you off? I mean, it could be just something out of the blue, or for me, it's more like when you're learning to re respond instead of react right away, and understanding that those reactions come from those triggers, and the deep wounding within us, the deep traumas within us, can outburst very quickly at first, a reaction, a very negative one of just anger, frustration. We can blurt out and suddenly fall into modes of PTSD, where we are in fight, flight, fear, or freeze. If you can observe for a moment how this person is triggering you off and making you react, when we can stop before we react and observe in that moment, um, what is it that these people have set off in us, and when we can really begin to overcome it by beginning to understand uh, why, and instead of hitting that wall, because they just upset you or make you feel crazy, that you do feel like you have to discharge that emotion with just like breaking something or yelling and screaming back at this person or losing your edge. Anyway, that will come back with a negative a karmic reaction back at you, whether it lands you in jail or just you lose that friendship or lose that ability in your job to um, keep stable emotionally, whatever it is. Um, that's kind of what I'm learning about still right now because I still can find myself in reactive mode, especially when you have to live with some people again or are around some people again that are kind of provoking. Um, how to deal with people and not let them provoke you, I think is really powerful, especially in cases where you are dealing with more toxic people, people with issues that might drive you to that nutsy place. Maybe you are getting over some of those deep triggers during a moment in your present time. Whether you are working through it through meditations, writing it down as you're learning, talking to therapists that are bringing it back up, not to give up, not to run away, and to try to stay in whatever it is. And in the future videos, I plan on learning more about triggers, and I'm really kind of excited about it because it's a big learning one for me too, just a big learning growth step. So, yeah, um, how hard is it for you to keep calm in situations? Um, Are you keeping a grip? Are you feeling helpless in situations? Are you at a job loss right now because of the COVID? Are you dealing with a family that is struggling to keep afloat during this crisis or any crisis? What keeps you going? Um, are you listening to videos? Are you taking even a moment to read a chapter in that book, in that personal growth book? Um, are you doing any work at all on yourself to help keep you afloat? Um, are you staying and taking the medications prescribed to you? Especially, I know for me, recently I've had to, after the death of my brother happened last year, and a lot of things have kind of happened since then, some traumatic things have been happening in my own life, like another move and so forth. And the loss of a job. Although the benefits of it are that transition in my life to another job has begun. It can still be hard when you're going through transitions and changes. Um, And for myself, I was kind of haggling out. And for a lot of us addicts, what we forget and what was taught to me again was that during this time, I've had to get on some Zoloft, some antidepressants, um, because just emotionally my anxiety is at such an extreme level. that to calm down instead of grabbing out, and especially if you're have like a mental disorder like bipolar, um if you're diagnosed with major anxiety disorder, borderline, whatever it is, any kind of mental health, and you're a user on top of that, the way that you cope is going to use drugs, alcohol, or, you go and blow big wads of money at a time on your credit card or whatever you're having a hard time handling things, there is help out there. And to go get that help when you feel like you're out of control and you're scared and you need it, you are not alone again. And I had to reach out and get some help again, and was talked to and just reminded of that when you do have, especially the ones with mental health disorders, have to take medications in order to keep them calm with a sense of peace. So it's less likely that, and like when we think that we're okay and maybe we quit taking that medicine, how easily it is to fall back into patterns of using again to help us cope and to keep us calm. So that's the legal way to do it, the safer way to do it, because we can get carried away and just lose control when we are left in the hands of our own devices. When it comes to drugging ourselves and not realizing what we're doing anymore, and we just frazzle out. So, always glad to get that help and reach out when you need it and know that you're not alone. Sometimes you need help through certain traumas and things in your life, and you don't have to do it all by yourself. It can be too hard. Um, and that's why it's great that other people do care, and they do have jobs where they want to help you, and they will. So again, this is kind of another video, a little bit about getting the help that you need and deserve, a little bit about triggers, um, and it will probably be just another short little video today because I'm in the process of moving tomorrow. And just remember that there also includes becoming at peace with yourself, and however way you can make that with the support of other people. Don't forget that you are important and you don't have to do it alone. So thanks for listening today. Peace.